Noah has sent funds for us to buy books and donate to schools. Well, again, he has sent some funds, and but because of the COVID now and all of that, a lot of schools not sitting except at the sixth form or the fifth form level. But in the past, we have donated quite a lot of books to the Haile Selassie School, and they seem to disappear. Well, this time round, we're going to get some more and donate to the school and to some other schools. But if there are other worthy projects that one can bring to our attention, naturally we will see how we can assist. So we want to heal Brother Elijah Noah, who not only talk, not only support, but make sure put some gas into the tank so that the vehicle can move. We give thanks to Brother Elijah Noah and his reasoning last week, and we're going to be having him from time to time on this program. We also spoke with Sister Vonette Goodwalker, and she gave us an update with regards to the Tulsa in the United States, Tulsa in Oklahoma, the massacre which took place 100 years ago, exactly 100 years ago, when an area of Tulsa in the United States, which was called the Black Wall Street. Now, some of you may know the Wall Street that exists, mostly in New York, where you have some of the rich guys, them and the rich companies, and some enough rich companies. So they call it Wall Street, where decide a lot of economic things will go on, not just in America, but all over the world. No, black people at a Black Wall Street, where all the businesses on that road there, on a couple of roads, well, in Tulsa, Oklahoma, all the businesses were owned by black people and were prosperous. I thought a little stall upon sidewalk, you know. We attack, they owned, I thought just renting them. They owned the shops, the restaurants, the different factories owned by black people in Tulsa, Oklahoma, 100 years ago. And the white people, in support, with the support of the government, when I say government, I mean the state police and the state apparatus, supported the white people that went about burning and destroying the black businesses. Serious business, you know. This is America where no found a run to, no found a line up a embassy or go to, no must know where I go, you know. This place wasn't a place of heaven for black people, and it's still not a place of heaven for black people. Understand? So, brethren, we're thankful for Sister Vonette Goodwalker, who shared that history with us and pointed out that there are 3 survivors. In other words, we have 3 black people right now who survived over 100 years, and I'll know them not getting no reparations. I'll know they have gotten no compensation. So when the President of America went to that function 2 weeks ago, and him doing discuss reparation, him a joke, man. Him joking. Him joking. You must discuss reparation. Firstly, you must compensate those 3 that are alive now. And secondly, you must compensate because a lot of the black people there are descendants of those who lost their business. So you must compensate, you must pay reparations to the children and grandchildren of those whose business America burned down. This going there and talk about you're sorry and this and that, and it must not, again, don't mean nothing to us. Don't mean nothing to us. So, glad Sister Vonette Goodwalker for bringing us up to date on that. And see if you say my book about Mark Rosewood, see, they like Judgment Day. No, the next heap, the next, it's when I come here, brothers and sisters, wait. No, look, no, man. Next, over the next, that one day where your finger upon now. There's one that mark Judgment Day. No, see the next one, the man. It's a great thing for your teacher with you. You know? Yeah, this is there you put it down, the man. Yes. To get. No, I never remember the name last week. I know it was some wood. Because you always seem to have greenwood, rosewood, and other wood where them burn down where black people is concerned. So what I was trying to remember when reasoning with Sister Vonnet Goodwalker last week was Rosewood. Some of you must remember Rosewood, a town in Florida that was black people was murdered in 1923. Now is what? 2021. So 2 years time we about have to commemorate another 100 years again. Is that all we're going to do? Just sit down and come in Donovan. That's all we're going to do every 100 years and remember these atrocities come.
And get trinkets, we get trinkets and emblem.
Yeah, that's all.
Keep it quiet.
That's all. You know, when I read them things here, brothers, and this is a book name where you all can buy. It named like Judgment Day. The ruin and redemption of a town called Rosewood. Rosewood in America. You understand? And I think the main town the main town in Tulsa was, I think, a town named Greenwood. I check my facts. They always seem to burn in the town where we got adapt name Wood. Yes, Greenwood. The main part of Tulsa where them burn down where we did there was a place named Greenwood. Well, in Rosewood in 1923, brothers and sisters, them kill off some black people. But you'd have 1 and 2 retaliate, you know. 1 and 2 did retaliate. Let me just read a passage to you all from the book. Let's go! Brothers and sisters, our duty is to bring the knowledge to you, to stimulate your thought and your reasoning process, and to rise you up as black people. Too much gimmicks, man. The race have too much gimmicks. Too much gimmicks. Every little gimmick them push out and grab it up. Man, I wear them pants, we don't gimmicks. All sort of tattooing, all sort of chisel up face, all sort of bleaching. Too much gimmicks, man. Too much singing and dancing. We have to sometime, we have to have its time. But we're not entertainers. We have to get out of that mentality. Nice. I make I tell you now, the engineer, lady, the YouTube is up now.
Yeah.
Nice. So what we tell the people them now? What them can find up on YouTube?
The same brother Miguel Lorne. I spell it out this time.
Oh, them just have to what? Type in brother Miguel Lorne.
Yeah.
Brother Miguel Lorne. B-R-O-T-H-E-R.
Right.
Miguel Lorne. And then you find me on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah, brother Miguel Lorne, bitter sugar or anything like that.
They can't add bitter sugar to it, but brother Miguel Lorne should bring them straight.
Once them put brother Miguel Lorne, they'll reach straight to our YouTube live that we have here in the studio. So give thanks, brother Miguel Lorne. Probably next week we name it Mukoma Miguel Lorne. You know, Mukoma. I go eat Zimbabwe. Mukoma means brother.
Okay.
So as our sisters give me that name, they say from now on it's Mukoma Miguel Lorne. Mukoma. M. So we give thanks for their brothers and sisters. Let me read this little part to you now. From the book Rosewood. The sun was getting high now. The January light slanted off the whitewashed and weathered homes of the small black village. Nearly 30 homes in Sumner, place named Sumner, S-U-M-N-E-R, all arranged among a network of dirt lanes winding through the thickets of cedars and oaks. A few of the homes had lawns, several had fruit trees, some kept arbors of grapes. There were 3 churches, a general store, a Masonic lodge, a school, a baseball diamond, everything a town of 150 could need. A prosperous town, a town that took care of itself, a black town in a white place in a white time. This was Western Florida, 1923. I want to understand, it's a prosperous little town. You see, the impression many people always give, like, anyway, black people there is suffering and starvation and hunger and all of that. No, this is why I emphasize that Tulsa massacre.
Yeah.
for some prosperous black people.
Even Leonard Howell on our local side is an example of such.
Oh, the Pinnacle?
Yes, sir.
Pinnacle was a man. Look like you might have memory a little more of introduction.
We have an autonomy that we work.
Pinnacle. And this is research I did.
See.
I went to the Institute of Jamaica, and the police at the time, police did have a newspaper named Mirror Mirror.
Yes.
Mirror Mirror. People, you can go down to the Institute of Jamaica, go look it up, you know. The police newspaper, Mirror Mirror. So the authors and the writers for Mirror Mirror are police. Police. So them write. When you read where the police them write in a Mirror Mirror about the Pinnacle raid, you think of places like when America invaded Iraq.
Oh.
Yeah, man, when the police them write and say, oh, they encamped from the day before and the night before. You see, Jose Marti School, you know, remember them places, it was pure bush and all them. Oh, them encamped there from the night before, set up camp and preparation for the raid upon Pinnacle. Yeah, man, it's big thing. Big thing. So it's nice to read them right, you know. So when them write it, you know. Say, yeah, well, man, when them raid up a Pinnacle and them going to one woman house and them find 800 pounds.
Then it was so much fun one time.
Hold on, man, 800 pounds in the early 1950s. Hey,
so much
800 pounds up. Boy, that would be about, you know, about pretty near $500 million now.
Right.
800, because you and me work it out now. What amount of land could 800 pounds buy in the early 1950s? And you could have get land, you could have get a whole heap of land, because the other day, me go to Westmoreland and me go amongst, me get to search up my grandmother grip. Search up my grandmother grip. And my grandmother, she has passed long time, Sis Bernard, you know, we used to call her Sis. And my mother always tell me, say, Sis not throwing nothing. So the first me I get a chance now to go check out Sis grip. And me see which part my grandfather buy an acre of land. And 19 buy an acre of James land.
The same James.
No, a white man.
No, him name James and James. They're the same guy.
Oh boy, you never check that part there, but you could be right.
All of them name, all his name after one of them guys.
I think I've read somewhere, very good a name after them guy there, but I think I read somewhere where them say it's James in the Bible.
Oh.
Just like Mary, and them place the Thomas, disciples in the Bible. Them claim so, but know that you mentioned, because James, even now, the family, him children, them own a whole heap of land in a Westmoreland, near Bethel town. Whole heap of land. So me switch for my grandfather to buy an acre. And him buy it for must about 2 pounds. Yes. Yes, 2 pounds. Him buy an acre of land. So if 2 pounds buy an acre, you understand? So 800 pounds could have buy estates.
Of course.
Yes, what I mean. So we're wealthy. Yeah. And the police write it, you know.
I know one person of that.
Police write it. And then them raid the next man house and them find 600 pounds. And them raid a couple more house and thing. So them write that, you know. And there is nothing that I do have no doubt that from them time there, because I feel it's them days there, you know, is some white police I lead the Jamaica police force, you know, some white police, you know. I lead the little black man them, you know.
That's before independence. Right?
Yeah, man. 50s. And it's a white man write this article in a mirror, you know. But I can't find out his name, but I don't remember it now. And him now, and me not trust them. So when them write 800 pound, brethren, my mind says more than 1,000 pound you find. And you pack some in your pocket. Yes. Because them come teach like a black police, them strategy there, you know. Then Henry Morgan now was pirate, man. Henry Morgan now was murderer, man. You know, Henry Morgan, a big pirate.
All of them are friends.
Yes. So Henry Morgan, remember, you know, the British make Henry Morgan the pirate
Yes, sir.
governor of Jamaica, you know.
Yes, man.
You understand what I mean? But, you know, we no reason them we here, you know, because I want to tell the people what we have lined up because we have a heavy program lined up. And I
We
don't.
know it's a run cross in mind. So
Yes.
Henry Morgan, I mean, me hear something about the reparation money.
Yes.
Rastafari talk about. I mean, I hear like the politician them a get brain hemorrhage over it. Like them want think out for budget it already. Like it's food for the poor money.
Who are budgeted out?
No, I hear some talking at the media about reparation money and who's advocating for it. So I say whatever it is that's coming on that horizon, they're getting brain hemorrhage over it, and then should be getting no brain hemorrhage over what Iron has been advocating for
You mean the
years
government
now.
of Jamaica?
It seems so to me.
Them a get brain hemorrhage. But make a give you a classic example. A classic example.
See,
Classic example. And at 8 o'clock, I will have my brother of brothers, Brother Bert Samuels, will be talking about reparations.
see.
I specifically asked Bert to come to talk. Well, we're going to talk on the phone. But as you mentioned, both them I get brain hemorrhage. Let me tell you what happened now. In Namibia, brothers and sisters, in Namibia, and we are talking now, you know, this week, between last week to this week, you know, in Namibia, between 1904 to 1908, and anyone who have been following this program, and even me up on another radio station and all, me always talk about it, a brother named Lothar van Thotha, a German general who led the Germans in Namibia. That time them call it Southwest Africa. In fact, they name it German Southwest Africa. And Lothar van Thotha ordered the Germans to murder more than 100,000 of the Herero people in Namibia, the Herero and the Nama people. The Herero and the Nama people, Van Thotha and the Germans murdered more than 100,000 of our African brothers and sisters. 80% of the Herero people were murdered. And the people were murdered because they refused to cooperate with the Germans. They refused to give up their land. They refused to give up their cattle to them. They refused to farm for them. They refused to be any slaves for them. And Van Thotha, the German boy, murdered many of them. They can't call him German man. Why? And that happened in 1904 to 1908. Now, after that, the Herero people and the Nama people have been agitating for their land to come back to them. Well, over the years, the Herero people and them from 1919, them look back them land. And they have been dismissed. Them even carry the matter go to court. It was dismissed in Germany, all sort of fight from 1900 time to now, you know, over more than 100 years. Well, the other day now, the government of Namibia reached an agreement with the government of Germany that Germany is going to give to Namibia $1.3 billion over a 30-year period as developmental aid. Hold tight, because you mentioned the government salivate over reparation money. They better learn this lesson here. And if them not listen, who will listen, better tell them. The government of Namibia agree with the government of Germany that Germany going to give them 1.3 billion over 30 years as developmental aid. Well, hear this now. When the government of Namibia mentioned this to the Herero and the Nama people in Namibia, them living, the chiefs and them said, no, you're out of order. How dare you negotiate on our behalf. We were the ones that were brutalized. We have to be the one to negotiate and discuss. If there is to be a settlement, you're out of order. So the government of Namibia have to backtrack now and say, boy, and tell Germany, say, yeah, well, this deal I can't go through, cause the people we are negotiating, them say, no, we don't have the power. It don't make because your government, you don't have the power to negotiate those things on behalf of the Herero and the Nama people. So they reject it.
Quite illuminated.
Yes. You can't negotiate on behalf of Rastafari. Who feels it knows it.
Yes.
And then you know, people, you know. You see, many things involved here, so, because the Herero and the Nama people, you see, when many of you, when you think of these people in Africa, you think of some chief with shield and sword and stick and half naked and thing. Well, them days they done away with. Many of the children of the Herero have traveled the world. Them study different languages. And them have some bright young sisters.
Mine's fertile.
Young sisters. There's something about when the sisters them take on certain struggling of brethren. One man them over as that, And some bright young sisters now. And they are the ones advising the chiefs.
Yeah.
And them advise the chief and say, yo, the German people, when they were negotiating reparations for the Jews, these were the conditions that they met.
Yes, very compatible.
So them used to what reparations should look like. So when them talking to we as Africans, them better come on the same level as when they were negotiating with the Jews. All right. On top of that now, remember them young girls and so traveling. So them show them chiefs, say, yo, you see, when we pass through Germany and we read for them newspaper and for them language, them treat we like dirt when them are right about we, the Herero and the Nama people. Them treat we like dirt. So that means them don't sorry for them though. So we can't just go negotiate with them so without some basic things. Them have to admit to them carry out massacres. Them have to apologize. Them have to admit to them carried out some atrocious act. All them things, them conditions, a whole heap of before we even talk about settlement, you have to admit your murderous behavior.
Through the process then, all of that.
Definitely. So them young girls, now advise the chief. And the chief now set up him council of elders now.
Yes,
and him council of advisors. You talk internet now with them people up on the internet. So when them know tell the government of Namibia, how you going to negotiate with people who still are called with them name? Yeah. Some derogatory name in their newspaper in Germany. You can't negotiate with people like that. No. So, and one of the reasons why I'm going to talk to Bert Samuels at 8 o'clock, I remember Bert Samuels would write a play where him put Governor Ear in Jamaica.
Yes.
The man that with it hang Paul Bogle and them. Will Bert Samuels write a play whereby in the play them try Governor Ear. Serious business, them try Governor Ear.
Here comes the judge.
But you know, them things that's not just symbolic in people. You might think say, we are trying Governor Ear. It's a serious thing. Here was a serious thing now. Governor Ear is a murder ordered the murder of Paul Bogle and George William Gordon and the Patriots who fought in the Morant Bay Rebellion. So he is a murderer in Jamaica. Yes. In England, them paint him up as a hero. Because I hear them say no. He prevented another Haiti in Jamaica.
Right.
I saw them put it,
Different perspective.
Him prevent, because if it wasn't for him, Jamaica was on the track of becoming a Haiti.
Another Haiti, yes.
You know, this 1865, You understand what I mean? Yes. So them have him as a hero. So it's important for we to put him on trial. Yes. Well, this murderous German boy now, Lothar van Thotha. When I call my brethren Bert Samuels now, the first thing come to Bert mind was, well, Miguel, we have to put him on trial. Lothar van Thotha. We have to put him on trial for murdering more than 100,000 of the Herero and Nama people. Brothers and sisters, you understand how serious we take it?
Yes.
So, no government can negotiate on behalf of I and I.
Yeah.
It's I and I, the people, have to negotiate on behalf of I and I. Just like the Herero people and the Nama people in Namibia. And again, look at your map of Africa, brothers and sisters. If you look at your map of Africa, you see Namibia, Namibia, Namibia. It's right beside South Africa. It's right beside, it is to the southwest of Africa. It borders with Angola. It borders with Botswana. It borders with South Africa. And I think a part of it border with Zambia. Yes. So, and brothers and sisters, we're not just talking, you see, anywhere black people business, there's our business now. It's them put it in our head that talk about we are African Americans and African Jamaicans and the foolishness that. You understand? We are Africans. Stop. Who were brought to Jamaica against our will.
Dragged by force.
Brutal.
Yeah.
Brutal. Brutal. So brothers and sisters, now get comfortable and talk foolishness about the program I deal with Africa. Like anywhere black people there, whether it's in America, Jamaica, South America, North America, anywhere.
And if your flexion high or low, you're still an African.
Your flexion, if your flexion high, you are an African. Definitely. So, brothers and sisters, right. So we're going to recap. We're going to continue to recap. Yes, so I just know Sister Vanet. Then we had Brother Akil, Ras Akil. And you all can tune in and make we have the chat. Right. So that, yes, on the YouTube, we can follow. Yeah, man. Give thanks. All right. All right. Good, good, good. It a pick up light, it a pick up all right. Yeah. All right, because I still seen say something. Yes, yes. Yes, we had Brother Ras Akil from the US Virgin Islands. And Ras Akil, he has also sent me, and that becomes very important, brothers and sisters. Because in the US Virgin Islands, now again, the US Virgin Islands, it's named US Virgin Islands because it's owned by the United States. You have two sets of Virgin Islands. You have the United States Virgin Islands, you have the British Virgin Islands. Look how far Britain they and them are own land. I tell you, them people are man, you come own land and own people. You know, like I met a lady in the US Virgin Islands say, you buy the land, you never buy me. Yes. So Ras Akil now from in the US Virgin Islands, St. Thomas. And he sent me a document, brothers and sisters, whereby in the US Virgin Islands, Africa Liberation Day, the 25th of May, by law, is celebrated as a national day. It is the only place in the entire United States territory where by law it is recognized as a national day, Africa Liberation Day. So brothers and sisters, you know, I asked Brother Akil to send it to me. And you know, bitter sugar now, you know it go with bitter sugar now. We're going to have to have a law like that.
Yes.
We're going to have to have a law like that. In Jamaica,
most recognized,
the
majority,
and it's not the, and you know,
we're constantly being precipitated to the base of this so-called whatever.
And you know, Jamaicans stay. Once you open my eyes, we're not going on the 25th of May to be legally a national day for African liberation. We're going to want Leonard Howell birthday, 16th of June.
Justly so.
You understand? And there are many others that we are going to be demanding.
Half the Marcus Garza,
so,
and so on and so
Babsy Grange, as the cultural minister and minister. You understand what I
She
mean?
have a whole heap of work
You
to do right now.
better start understand. Why like about the law in St. Thomas? They recognize all the black liberation movements in St. Thomas.
See.
All of the black liberation movements that fought and agitate for Africa Liberation Day to be legally a national day,
See.
all of them is listed in the law.
What's the demography of St. Thomas like, really?
Hilly. Very hilly.
I mean,
St. Thomas.
they-
I know you're dealing with a start with that way. In other words, when you drive up on dog, you have to be very careful. You look like you can run half of the hill at the moment. Yes, it's very hilly.
Yeah.
Tourism is a big thing. Near to the sea, when you come off of the hill, now you come right near to the sea.
See.
Population-wise, which is what I think you're driving at. It's not so populated, you know. Not overpopulated, but I can't tell you. So, Brother Akil, if you're tuning in, you know, send something in the chat room, you know, and tell me what the population like. But it's 3 islands: St. Thomas, St. Croix, and St. John.
St. Croix, St. John.
Yes. But them have a beautiful history. And in studying some of them history, where them fight for them liberation, some Jamaicans go down there.
Yes.
And you know when we go down anywhere,
Yeah, man.
we not stand steady.
Coming like pepper on the pot.
Yeah, man, we not stand steady. So some Jamaicans everywhere, you know. Same way in Haiti,
Yeah.
Bookman, and everywhere.
Yes.
You can count on 1 and 2 Jamaicans.
Yeah.
You know. Don't ask you how we get there, you know. Don't ask you how we get there. But we always get, even now, you know. Even though. Let me say, even now. You understand? Don't ask how we get there. 'Cause like I tell you, it says many, many years ago, in about the 1970s, when we go Poland, and we go see a shop named Macatree.
Makachi.
Macatree. In a Warsaw, in a Poland. So I have to ask 2 times. I must have J, man. The Macatree.
Yeah,
Yeah, man, we know Macatree all over Jamaica, but if we go to Poland, we see a shop here, Macatree. I tell you, man, that's how we stay.
Yes.
So, you know, that's in St. Thomas. Now, so we had Ras Akil. We also had Brother Bob Johnson last week, and he explained to us in detail about the Juneteenth celebrations and the proposed celebration that they'll be having in Atlanta, Georgia. It's 3 days of celebration. It has to, Juneteenth have to do with the abolition of enslavement. Remember, we also spoke to Brother Benji from Ghana. And Brother Benji gave us an update on what ECOWAS, which is a West African organization, and also the situation in Mali. You know, an interesting thing Benji said last week. Benji said, remember Mansa Musa?
Mansa Musa.
Yes. Remember Mansa Musa, brothers and sisters. Now, Mansa Musa was a great king from the kingdom of Mali. He was a Muslim. We attacked the 15th century, 15 going into the 16th century, from the kingdom of Mali. So Mansa Musa went on a pilgrimage, a journey to Mecca. He was a Muslim. So I'm going at him, homeland, Zion then, as it were. Is Mecca. I remember them days, all of them places that was seen as Africa, you know, so. The greatness of Mansa Musa now, on his way to Mecca, and on his way from Mecca, he gave away gold. That the rulers of the different countries said, you can't do that, brethren. Oh, you just like give away gold, so give. Because what it did now, it devalued the currency of gold. Can just give a gold to people, you know, on them journey, just give a gold.
Just like that.
So they must say, wait, if him have so much gold the kingdom of Mali have. And that is what Benji reminded us of last week. Mali has a lot of gold. So all of this fight we're going in Mali right now is over there. Not just gold, lots of other minerals that Benji reminded us that Mali has.
The secret secret studies, they keep that knowledge to themselves, manipulate it,
Yes.
but they pretend that they have a face, but they're really trying to extract all the resources out of the motherland.
They might do it right now.
Yeah, so they work.
And here the thing now, brothers and sisters, with Mali, that if you notice this week, Mali had a coup, and the general of the army makes himself the interim president, and him appoint the leader of the opposition as the prime minister. The African Union, that is the African Union for all of Africa, ECOWAS, the economic organization with 15 states in West Africa. ECOWAS, that's an acronym for the organization. So they have said, look, you have had two coups, brothers and sisters, mean overthrow of the government. You have had two overthrow of the government in less than a year. You cannot do it, so because you have the guns and the weapons. Anybody will displease you, you throw them out. All right. France now. France have a military force. Mali was at one point colonized by France. Just like Niger and some other country, Cote d'Ivoire, that means Ivory Coast and all of them, they were one time colonized by France. So France have a military force in Mali. So France said to Mali, well, we're not going to support you no more and train your soldiers and fight with you because you cannot have carry out coup. Well, the general who are around the country now, him say, all right. So him say, Russia, you come work with me. So this weekend now when I watch some of the things that are going on in Mali, I see the people are wave the Russian flag. The Russian flag, them are waving. People are wrap themselves in the Russian flag and say, France, you go on now. You go on. Russia come in. So Russia has sent what them Russia call 600 military advisors. I don't think you know. So Russia now is helping to train the Malian army for fight the terrorists them that keep raiding Mali and other countries. Now, this is a serious development now.
Of course it is.
But Russia, in all fairness to Russia, Russia has had a history of helping the liberation struggles in Africa. Yes. They provide weapons, they provide guns, because you can't go to war.
Cubans as well.
Yes, and so on. So, it's not something new, and the Russians are now in Mali, and they are going to end up in a stronger way now, because the government say, you come now, we're going to work with you, because France are puppy show. France are talking about them now, work with me. Go on, France. But you come and help train my army, provide the weapons, and we will take on ISIL, Al-Qaeda, or any group where invade my country. So the Mali thing in Africa is serious. And if you look on the map of Africa now, you see Mali up here, you see it at the other Donovan, Mali. Mali borders with Algeria. It borders with Mauritania. Mali borders with Niger.
Senegal.
They also borders with Senegal, Guinea, Burkina Faso. See, it's Mali inside. It says a landlocked country.
This is a court.
That's Cote de Ivory Coast.
Yes.
Also border with a part of Mali. And if you also notice now, Burkina Faso. Burkina Faso borders with Mali. And Burkina Faso had a terrible week this week. Some terrorists, as I say, Burkina Faso borders with Niger. Some terrorists from Niger went over in the village in Burkina Faso and killed over 160 people. Some serious thing are going on in the central part of Africa, but that's where the gold, the diamonds, enough things there, and the fight is over that. So
we need to have some thing to work through.
Yes. So you have a watch the kind of I'm wearing my watch. So you have a timepiece and we can go and look on and so on. So all right. So we had Brother Akil. We also can't leave out that we had Sister Monifa Hope Morgan. Yes, Rastafarian sisterin. She's a teacher at Rossi's. And she outlined some business plans last week that the Nyabingi House is planning. Very, very good. Very, very good. So I'll just recapping last week. We had, like I said, a near perfect program. And these were some of the things that we discussed. This week now, like I said, no, action-packed. We're going to be talking with some different people this week now. Serious business. Yes, let me give you an idea. Like I said, we'll be talking to Brother Bert Samuels at 8. We'll be talking, I want to give a sequence of it. We have here, oops, I missed one of my first speakers, so we're going to have to alter the timing. There's a sister, I think she was on the radio last week on Brother Knife's program. A sister, one of the Hebrew Israelites, Sister Amalia, she calls it Amalia Israel. So we're going to talk a little more about the Hebrew Israelites. These are some black people who migrated from America. They went to Africa first, and then they went to Israel. Now, I hear them talk last week. I hear her talk last week. But I want to hear some of the political side of things now. The political. She mentioned about the Red Sea and the amount of minerals in it, the peacefulness, different things like that. Nice. Mm-hmm. But I want to hear about the political side of things. So we want to talk to her. We're also going to talk to Brother Michael Barnett now. He's going to talk to us about Leonard Howell. Yes, I have a book there now where Brother Michael Barnett, Clinton Hutton, Brother Jelani, where they did a nice feature on Howell. People don't have to start by the books them, Not have to buy the books them. People research and come up with some nice books. We have to buy the books them, man. So we'll be talking to Brother Michael Barnett about that situation. We'll talk to Sister Amalia after we talk to Bert. Then now I know we're going to talk to Brother, yes, see that? This is a book now here, Leonard Percival Howell, and the Genesis of Rastafari. And it have quite a number of writers, Brother Clinton Hutton, Brother Michael Barnett, Brother Dunkley, and Brother Jelani Naya, and some other persons that have written about the Genesis of Rastafari Howell. Right, yes. So we'll be talking now. I have some other persons line. We'll be talking to Brother Omari later on in the program. Brother Omari up there in Canada. And you all hear of the things that is happening in Canada. You all must follow world news. In Canada, where some of the homes, some of the schools that were set up by the Catholic Church for the indigenous people, that is the people you always refer to as the Indians in Canada and America. And how they, at these schools, how they are now discovering graves at some of the schools. They have closed down these schools. These schools operated for over 150 years. And now they are discovering graves of children that were found buried at all different places at these schools. So Brother Omario's up there in Canada, and one of our ardent listeners to the program, follows this program very well. We're going to be speaking with him later on. We're also going to be speaking with Sister Yezembe. Sister Yezembe over there in Manchester. Nice to make her, she's going to give us her perspective on what she see happening right here in Jamaica at this time. Now, the ombudsman put out a report. And the ombudsman put out a report concerning campaign electioning. I heard her talking along with her lawyer last night on the television. I have not yet read the report, but the little that I heard, where she was saying that in compiling this report, they had invited and spoke with the General Secretary of the People's National Party and the General Secretary of the Jamaica Labour Party. And from the talking to these people and some other people them called stakeholders, they come up with a report. They never invited the Marcus Garvey Party to discuss this thing about campaign financing and campaign things that we see and we experience, brothers and sisters. In Jamaica, elections are bought. There's no fair election in Jamaica. So when you invite the Jamaica Labour Party and the People's National Party, you as the ombudsman, to think. In other words, you invite the rapists and you put them on the jury. That's what the ombudsman has done. You invite the rapists and put them on the jury. What kind of outcome you expect? The jury now going to find them not guilty? How can you do that and then talk to we Jamaicans? No, that's out of order, man. Yeah. You don't invite the rapist, we commit the rape, and put him on the jury and expect a fair that him, the rapist, when get any rapers will come before him a fair trial. No. So those are the jokes that UNO people play upon Jamaican people. In Jamaica, every Jamaican know. We see it every election, not just the last election, the election before. UNO see it. Money is going to use and buy people. What do you think is the root of the cause of Central Kingston, the violence we are going down there now? Between darkness and genocide and every day the shooting and the murder and all of them things. And as I said that, I want to send out my condolences to Aista Rani, my brethren, Aista Rani, because them shoot one of them son just this week, the youth and him way to work. Him rub down furniture at a furniture shop. And the man him way upon him bicycle to work and them shoot him. Because I'm come from an area where them claim say man from that area, they shoot some man from another area. So anybody them say from that area, them shoot him. Even that the youth involved in nothing, you know. And them shoot him, kill it. And that I go on downtown now, you know. The politics is the root of it, man. Youth will never have no gun. Youth will have big money. See, I walk a big money for eat. But him have gun. Oh, let him get gun. Mercy me, man. Like I said last week, and I will say it this week, you know, if this is going up at Cherry Gardens and Beverly Hills, the police and soldier them and the thing will find a way to stop it. But these poor people are dead down there, so them couldn't care less. So
people must find a way to get rid of them.
Yeah, man, definitely. You know, so we will be talking now to Brother Heru, president of the Marcus Garvey People's Political Party. We'll be talking to him about this report from the ombudsman, which must be a joke, waste of money and time. If you're not serious, first of all, identify the problem and make suggestions as to how to solve the problem. Because you can't continue to talk about you have a democratic country where people buy elections. It's foolishness now. We have to face that reality. That's what happens in Jamaica. All this foolishness, boy, you have runners, you have Caragua people yard, and demand to them come. You have people that get lick up in them community, the man come lick on your gate and your door, come vote and all them things there. Serious business here, sir. So, as we move along, you know, yes. We soon call her. We're going to call her shortly. Yes. So, brothers and sisters, let's go. And just before we do, yep, we have to make you know that number 13, the ship was overloaded. Will heap a man jump overboard and dead before them reach the shore.
La 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 la. Yeah, man. Yeah, nice, you know. So glad that we made it. Overload. This was overload. The better than jump overboard. And then before the breeze and show. Yeah. Overload. The ship was overload. The better than jump overboard. And then before the breeze and show. Yeah. So long we've been down in this flood of the water.
Yes. It's on the line. Thank you.
Glad we come over. Come and let's see things that we want to conquer. Man, I'm glad we come over. I'm glad we come over. There is no one who will answer. So we could come over. Whoa, 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 whoa. I'm glad we come over.
Overseas number?
No, local.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Yes. Overload. The ship was overload. Well, if a man jump overboard and then before the breeze and show, yeah, overload. The ship was overload. Me brother didn't jump overboard and then before the breeze and show. Say my name on us down here over 400 years. I'm glad we come over. No more will my people be living in pain. I'm glad we come over. We know they don't love us. We know they don't care. And I'm glad we come.
Greetings, Sister Amalia. Greetings and blessings. Welcome. I give thanks. Give thanks. Give thanks. Give thanks. Now you live in Israel. Yes. And like I said, I've heard you speak on other programs and brilliant. Sound good. Very, very good. But I'm wondering now how things from the political point of view, especially in regards to the Palestinian people. How does the Hebrew Israelites, the black people who have returned to Israel, how do they see the Palestinian people?
Well, my brother, I would first like to give all honor and praise to Yah, the Holy One of Israel, and greet you, my brothers, my sisters, in everlasting peace and eternal love. Shalom, shalom, in our holy tongue. Good evening.
Blessings and honor. Give thanks.
One thing for sure, this is a complicated situation that cannot be looked at on the surface. We have to understand that the present day configuration is very similar to what we've experienced on the rest of the continent. It's been carved up and divvied out to those other interests that aren't even on the ground. So you have to bear that in mind. All things are not as they appear to be. That being said, we have to know that this is the end of a reign of terror and abject poverty, a reign of exploitation, oppression, separation. It's the end. It's the end of that, and what we're seeing is the last vestiges of this end. And we have to bear in mind as well, this is not for political reasons. That if politically it could be resolved, don't you think it would have been resolved by now? This is a spiritual matter. This is a matter that we have to understand relative to principles and principles of governing people with love, respect, truth, honesty, forthrightness, justice, mercy, and the like. So, we have to know that we're talking about the region. The region we're talking about is Northeast Africa, which has been misnamed for many centuries complexion of the population of the general area. That being said, we know that those that are doing the fighting against one another are not the ones who, obviously, the behavior is not the one likened to a place that has been designated as the home, the cradle of civilization. So we're talking about a construct, a political, geopolitical construct that's meant to confound even the simplest and the most astute of minds. You understand? Are you following me?
I follow you well, and so on. But for example, does the Hebrew Israelites, would any of your members participate in, for example, fight in the war against the Palestinians on the side of the Israeli soldiers? Would any of your members do that?
Well, let's put it like this. Again, we cannot see this just from the carnal eye. We have to use the spiritual awareness as well. We have to understand that in Israel, we have close to 2,500, 3,000 members of our community there.
Mm-hmm.
And that we have the necessity and the right to defend ourselves. Okay. Now, the complication is the fact that we have to protect our people. Therefore, we presiding military is the Israeli army.
So some of your people are part of the Israeli army?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Our children, Israel, we have to go back. We have to go back to understand the development. Again, our presence there, we are present there because we are there to protect the interests of Yah, the Holy One of Israel, to return the land to the original intent. When we go to the Genesis, we go to a beginning, we go to the fact of the ground that our people were brought into this world, all over the world,
to
Just let
live
it finish, you know.
and to say,
Do you want to stick with it? Play it over, if anything.
destroy life.
Change the tone, but don't start
In the
it.
meantime,
Change the tone, but don't start it yet.
All right.
I signal you when to start.
quite complicated and quite turned inside out because of mankind's disobedience to the instructions to take care and protect and nurture all of the creation, the fauna, the flora, the animals, the waters, the air, the ground, the earth. That's our role in life. That's the role that we were put here for. That's why we are here. So we have realigned ourselves with the spirit that governs the land.
Yeah, but tell me now, does the Israelis that are there now, do they understand? Do they see it that way, that you are there as guardians of the holy site and to preserve it for the right and original people to one day come and inhabit it? Am I reading the play right?
Exactly.
Right. But how do the present Israelis, how do they see that, if they see you as persons who are, because in effect you would be saying to them, you are not the rightful people that ought to be here.
And it's evident because of the behavior.
Yeah.
So they, in fact, already, it's unequivocal. It's unequivocal we know that the Yah of the creation has protected all things for all time, as right now as in the past, in the interest of the creation and the cycles of creation staying in tandem. In other words, the sun rises and the moon sets, and all of this has been set in order. There's a perfect order that has been set up. Now, unfortunately, man over time has come to alter, to imitate,
and to breach, and let's breach that order. And let's breach that order. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Thinking that you can overpower and do better, show out. And in fact, we know there's no way that it can be done. So this is the problem that we have to see. This is playing itself out. Once Benami made a commitment to take the people out of America into the promised land, because the people by that time had suffered over and over and over for centuries. And a people who would behave in a manner that would be pleasing and reflecting in the light of the nation to again bring life back unto humankind again. So in the process, there are things that we have done and we will continue to do. And it's not for self-interest. It's in the interest of all of the creation.
Yeah, but
you had to have a people that was bold enough to step out there
yes.
and say, wait a minute, this is senseless. This was taking place presently while we're residing in America in the 1960s is full of fraught with confusion, and there's no other end. We can see that politically that this is not the solution, because if politically it was a solution, the civil rights movement, you don't think that Martin Luther King, you don't think that predecessors, Marcus Garvey, etc., they put their best foot forward and they went forward to alter this condition. So we gathered ourselves up with the first interest of Yah in mind, and we pulled ourselves out of that predicament, that political environment. What's the difference than now?
Yeah, but
You can tell me
hold on. Yeah, man, hold on. But there are two things you mentioned which think. One, you said you refer to there as the cradle of civilization. That is highly disputable. Israel is not the cradle of civilization at all. From a Bible point of view, it sounds that way. But there is empirical evidence that shows that the cradle of civilization is in Africa. And when I say Africa, not Africa to say defined with Israel. I'm talking about the Nile Valley. I'm talking the Aldevar Gorge. I'm talking the Rift Valley area where you have Ethiopia, Tanzania, and those countries. There is more evidence to show, hold on, my sister, there's more evidence to show that that area is the cradle of civilization by far more than the present era, which is called Israel now.
Well, let's understand as well. I'm not going to refute. We have to understand we're on the African Rift Valley as well. You have to understand, look at the region. You have the same plant life, botanical life, you have the same sea life, you have, you can tell by, if you travel up and down the Nile and you go through the region, you can see the similarities in the culture and again, the lay of the land. So at any rate, we all know that the continent has been shifted. We know that the waters have, but we also know that the essence of the idea is the reason why we came on this earth is to live. It's not to die. The first purpose is to live and to let live and to nurture and to row like we do here. I mean, we don't have any effort to have a June plum tree or mango tree. No effort. We're just blessed. And that's intended to be. That's my understanding.
And that's good. That good understanding. But now to say that Israel is the promised land, why isn't it? Why Harar is not the promised land? Why Kenya is not the promised land? Why Tanzania is not the promised land? I mean, in other words, hold on, we're not, but aren't we? Well, no, aren't we subscribing to certain things when we go and say Israel is the promise, and that all these other countries are not the promised land? Why would God make that place the promised land, and the other lands out of which you and I know, we know that our loins, our blood comes out of these lands? Couldn't all these lands also be the promised land?
I have no argument whatsoever. I have traveled. I have been to Ghana. I have been to Egypt. Those are my brothers and sisters. We are promised. Everybody's promised, really, who's ideal, who's wrapping their minds around, who's behaving as if life is to be lived. That's the promise, regardless of where you try, especially when we're talking about this region. So we understand that, geographically you might be a few kilometers this way or a few kilometers that way. That's neither here nor there. The point of the matter is it's one land. Israel is a part of Africa. It is Northeast Africa. Man came in modern era to carve the Suez Canal and practically sever the spiritual connection between this part of the land and the other part. So we have to wrap our minds around the fact that we live there. I've lived there since 1984 as an individual.
Yeah, all right.
And,
No, but the problem is, no, you see, when people talk about promised land and cradle of civilization and all of that, that is what, make people to feel that they are better than other people, and to make people to feel that they are God's chosen people versus other people. So we have a problem there. But one thing I want to mention to you, because for the African Hebrew Israelites to fight in an army with Israeli soldiers against other people, and I'm certain you'd be aware of it, that years ago, the Israeli government dumped the blood of black people, Ethiopians. Some black people had gone to a hospital and had donated blood. And the same Israelis that you fight alongside with, the people in the hospital said, we prefer to die rather than put the Ethiopian blood in our body. And the government had to publicly dump those blood to show that them get rid of it. Now, how can I fight with somebody who dumped my blood?
The thing, my brother Ross, that
Yes.
we have to get clear is the fact that it has nothing to do. It's the idea that we must fight against. Again, the fight is not against individuals. Because these same folks are right here. They're in Chicago. They're in everywhere in the land as we know it. It's the idea.
No, I agree with you, but hold on. But you have labeled these places you have labeled these places the promised land and the cradle of civilization. You have labeled it that way. And we are saying, how can I feel comfortable in any land where my blood is dumped? Come, my sister, we got to face that reality. Something is wrong here.
What is wrong is, again, the same permeating idea has to be, and it is falling. It's falling down to the ground as we speak. That's why Israel's government is unstable. That's why America's government is unstable. That's why Britain's government, because it's falling down. It's an end of a reign of terror around the world. It doesn't matter. It shows its ugly head. I don't care if it's promised or not promised. The promise is life and living according to the tenets of Yah. That's the only promise. I don't care where you stand on this earth. If you align yourself with these promises, then you will work a work. You have taken a people, a marginalized people, in a civilization, so-called civilization. Again, these words, my brother, I'm not going to get into a debate about geopolitical words and English words that don't lend anything. How do you call civilization in just because you've got highways and
electricity and running water and those things? Yes.
Okay.
Right.
As opposed to a village where my brothers and sisters in a far Ethiopia, that's civilization to me.
I agree with you. Yes.
We're not going to quibble over words, but we've got to come to grips, my brother, with the fact that the people are here for a purpose, and the purpose is to restore paradise where that we can tread this earth. That's our purpose. Now, in order to do that, Yah took a people and used them to work this out, to carve out this new idea. And things had to take place. Suffering, we have lost people, we have lost, that's the main thing. People is everything. So you can't do it without people. So now you got to take a people and alternate their minds because they've been programmed terribly with religion and education. We can see it right here while I'm going through this country. You can see how hand in glove. And then the people are just not really living at all. But they're programmed to be consumers. They don't produce. They don't. The family system is almost totally destroyed. I don't care where you go. Therefore, self-esteem is gone. Therefore, all things that really matter, like fresh air, and then we're going to have that be when it's been provided. The air, the water, the food, it's all been provided. But we got homeless people. We got things that are bigger and much more important. So we've got to take our mind and take it in another direction and see how the progress is going on. We are taking our continent and returning. The diaspora is returning. We've had the great brain drain, and now the diaspora is returning to bring all of these skills and couple them with the skills of basket weaving and hair grooming and cloth making and etc. in order to meet the needs of our people. For finally, our people are happy to say, we don't need Noxzema. We've got shea butter. We've got cocoa butter. We don't have to have soy oil. We've got palm oil. We've got coconut oil. You know, we're not afraid to eat a Jamaican-grown banana instead of the one that's got to come from overseas with the Tropicana brand on it or whatever.
No, I hold on. I'm in agreement, and most of my listeners, even looking at some of the comments in the chat room and so on, are in agreement with that part of it. The problem we have with Madam, if our people is made to think that Israel is the promised land, although it is a part of Africa, then the other parts of Africa is being treated. In other words, there are people in Jamaica that goes to Israel, buy olives that grow in Israel or olive oil that come from Israel, or they get certain things from Israel. There are certain pastors that even come on this program, come on this radio station, and all they have to say is that this water, this holy water, comes from Israel. This olive oil comes from Israel. this sand come from Israel, and our Jamaican people run go buy it up. All I'm saying is that, we want to get up. The same thing you're saying is part of the struggle of getting our people from feeling that because the Bible says so, that if the water comes from Zimbabwe, if the oil comes from Kenya, if such and such come from, it is equally good or probably better. But if we continue to highlight Israel in the manner that it is, and if, in other words, we just saw a war between Hamas and Israel. We see 250 people killed in Hamas over the Palestinian side. We see 12 people killed over the Israeli side. We are sorry for any loss of life. But in any war like that, where 250 people killed and 12, that's a lopsided war. And with the Americans, with the type of arms and so on, America just is the ones who keep Israel the way it is. So we can't sit down and ignore that. The 3 billion, the 3 billion that America gives to Israel annually. That is what makes Israel behave in the arrogant manner that they do with regards to other people. So it's not the same situation of Harar like that. Yes, it's a different situation. Yes.
I want you to understand as well that we want to be able to conceive of the time near future without the war. Unfortunately, the population is programmed to know that war is necessary. No, war is not necessary. We have a people. We want our people here, our listening audience, to know that there are African people inside of Israel that are working in tandem. There are those that are born and raised Bedouins. They're called African Ishmaelites. There are Ethiopian, Sudanese, Ghanaian, Africans, all together, working together.
Many of them have been deported. Hold on. Many of them have been deported recently. Sudanese, Africans have been deported recently.
I haven't finished.
Yes.
And we're working together to resolve that. We have to undo things that have been done, unfortunately. We have to undo these things. Yes, no, yes, it is wrong for them to be deported. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make any sense at all. But you have to know that you got brothers and sisters on the ground there who are going to point our brothers and sisters in the direction. First of all, anybody that says it's holy water and all that, part of a business scheme. We cannot buy into the business scheme. Everything goes hand in glove. The politics, the business, all of that goes together. No, we want to say, come and see for yourself. Tread this land. Meet the brothers and sisters who have been born and raised here. They know their people. Our people are in Jerusalem in the old city. There's a people called the Ethiopian Orthodox Church. They've been there ever since. But when our people come from here and go through Christianity, they don't know nothing about the Ethiopian brothers that are there, because that route is not going to take them there. All they're going to show them is the Polish and the Russian and the Czechoslovakian and the hidden ones in Northeast Africa who are feverishly to overcome. They got a great debate going on. Who is a Jew? Hey, who are you to say who I am? I am that I am.
Yes, but you say, hold on now. But you're all the Hebrew Israelites. You all had gone to Africa first and lived in Africa for a while. When I say Africa, I'm talking like Liberia and other countries in Africa. If there was the promised land, why didn't you all stay there?
Our purpose was to go where we are. we came, the Israelis wanted to turn us around at the airport. They held us for over 24 hours, debating and discussing, because we came and we said, we are not Jewish people. We have an affinity to this land. We have a right to this land. We are African people. This is Africa. And we are here to establish the kingdom of Yah on earth. That was our mission. That was our vision. And that's what we came to accomplish. They wanted to convert us to Judaism. Abraham historically preceded Judah. You're a religion. We're coming from one God, one Yah, one aim, one destiny.
Yes.
Prior to all of that, schism, got to get to heaven on Jesus' name. We know and we understand. We know the rest of the word.
Yes.
So this is where they didn't. There were those that said, okay, let him go, send him to Demona, and that was that. In the meantime, we have been persona non grata. They say we were worse than the PLO. They say we were a bone in the throat. We have not lifted one weapon other than truth at this government that presides. But the governments are temporal. And we understand that. And with righteousness and with truth, we will overcome what's facing us right now. And that's the only weapons that we can use. So we don't attest to present day modernization in that sense. But at the same time, we have a population that it would behoove us to know how to use those mechanical weapons to protect them.
Tell me now.
One blood.
Well, hold on. No. It's not one blood. It's not one blood at all with those people in Israel. But tell me now, the way forward now. How do there are problems there and so on, and we could spend the whole night highlighting the problems. We see in Sheikh Jarrah, people who have lived on that land for quite a long time are now their land is now being taken away and given to these people who call themselves Jews and who says that they have a right to that land, despite the fact that people, many of them came there and saw these people living there. How do we solve all of this the way forward? With somebody like Netanyahu who clearly doesn't respect any other life apart from what they call the Jewish life? That the day might come when your land that you all occupy, that they might say, look, we want that land. How do we solve all of that the way forward now?
We have to be smart. We got to be smart because remember, we see, like, we go back to the Western, they speak with forked tongue. You saw them pandying up to Africa not too long ago, didn't you? Because they wanted greater access.
Yes.
You have to know who you're dealing with, and you have to know their nature, and you have to appeal again. And the greatest weapon we have, we do have the holy creation to come to our behest. Our job is to do that which is good and right to and for one another. We stay on that trajectory. Yah said, I will not meet you as a man. Marcus Garvey said, I'll meet you in the whirlwind. You understand? We have to understand that the universal forces come to our behest.
No, but you see, on the other hand, whilst you're living in the country, you have to abide by their laws.
Hey, baby, their laws are the same all over the world.
No, their laws are a little different. Their laws, if their laws are going to demand that you as a people have to take up arms on their side, come on now, we have to seriously consider that. How do I take up? Hold on. How do I take up arms against an innocent man who is living on his land, who has been there long before me, and so on? Which God gives me that authority? This is what the Israelis say, that God give them the land. How can that be? How can that be? And if your children are now fighting with a people who don't respect black people, many of them are probably more racist than Hitler and Biden and all of these people, much more racist. We have seen examples of that, my sister, in Israel and outside of Israel. How can you live with that?
It's the same way other people can lay down in their bed any day of the week in any land, because every land is fraught with it because it permeated the world. It takes place in this country. It takes place in the country I was born and raised in. It takes place in UK. You name it. That's the deal. You have to understand that it is not personal to Israel. It's taking place as we breathe and sleep right now. People are...
Yes, but you see, this generalization doesn't offer a solution. If you get up and choose a land, go to a land to live for specific reasons. And we're saying if you are conforming with the laws of that land, if you don't conform, we see black people being deported. We see pictures of black people being humiliated. We see Ethiopians that are disrespected to the grid. Now you're going to say it happens in every country. True. But we're talking now of a country that don't pretend that if you're not a Jew, you're nobody. They don't have no qualms. They don't have no qualms about dropping bombs on the Sudanese. You see, so we can. So if in other words, if I hold on now, if the Sudanese people decide to stand up for certain things, and these are black people, and if the Israelis decide to fight against them, and they send your son, or when I say your son, the African Hebrew son, to take up arms to shoot black people, he's going to do it?
My brother.
Yes.
What's your solution here?
My solution is that, like I said, in other words, I've known quite a few of the African Hebrews over the years, the Israelites and so on. Some brilliant minds I've come across, some brilliant, absolutely brilliant thinkers, brilliant minds. And I'm thinking that those minds could do better with working with fellow black people rather than working under a Jewish racist system.
My brother.
Yes.
You're not hearing me.
I'm hearing you, and I'm understanding very well, but you have to face that reality.
My brother.
Yes.
You're not hearing me because we are working. We've been in Ghana for over 40 years, working with our brothers and sisters in Ghana. We are one with the land of Africa. We are working with our brothers and sisters in Southern Africa who have the same site. We are working with our brothers and sisters in Kenya. Right now...
No, I know of some of these, because especially in Ghana, where the soya beans product and all of that. And it's very good, very, very good. Very, very good what what you all have done in some of the African countries. I too have been to some of these places, and I've seen the great works. And that's how I know that some of the brilliant minds. Now, if you're doing, let us say you're doing 100 works, picture if you could probably be doing 500 works, which would be in other words, our own black people would get the benefit of your intellect and your minds and all that you have said, much more than a people who do not appreciate it.
Well, the way I see it is a little bit different because okay. We've been in the land, we've been on the tread since 1966.
Yes.
So this is 2020. right? So that's 55 years, if I'm not correct. We have developed a people who have who are governed by the rules, the laws of the universe, the laws of Yah. We have modest, we have humble, we have workers, we have producers, we have a school, we have a clothing industry, we have stores and products and veganism. We have these are our work that we have to show in the middle of being in this fight. Constantly seeking to take a people who are marginalized and cause them to be front and center on the world stage because we have God at the interest. We are guided and directed, and we work in tandem in alignment with the will of Yah Israel, and that's to restore our people back to the people that we're supposed to be. We're not supposed to be warmongers. We're not supposed to be prostitutes. We're not supposed to be shamanists. We're not supposed to be we're doing the other.
Yes.
Consistently, methodically, and continually. In the meantime, it's a fight. It's a war going on, and the war is in high grade. The war is not blood and blood. It's principality. We all know this. Our brothers before me taught me this. The Lassie and Nkrumah and you name it. Okay, this is where we're working. In the meantime, you come to my village, you won't see a weapon. You won't see a weapon. We haven't had a gunshot. I've never seen a gunshot in my community. My children haven't seen a drive-by shooting. We don't sell alcohol where we live. We don't sell cigarettes. We don't sing that are saying no to life. We are freeing ourselves from that. Because we know that there's got to be a life. Life is not going to the hospital and instructions to rules. That's not life. Life is not these things diabetes and all of these things have to be thought out until we get to the desired result. It's a process. In the meantime, you got a convoluted, crazy world all over the place.
Everywhere. I don't care where you sit. How can it be so much poverty? Why are people homeless? We cannot have this. This is not peace for nobody. It's not just the war is worse with the alcoholism and the lung cancer. More people are dying that way, but we're not losing we're not judging each other and throwing people holding their feet to the fire about that.
Yes.
It's okay.
Yes, but hold on now. But to say all of those questions that you have asked, you can answer it. People are hungry because the wealth of the earth is not being distributed properly. One set of people take most of the wealth. But when persons can make weapons, where one weapon that is made, it costs more than $1 billion United States dollars. One weapon. That 1 billion could have fed so many villages around. So you don't have the very question you have asked. And yet that one weapon is sent to Israel. So you don't have to look far. That's what America does. It makes those weapons and send to Israel. And said, Israel, hold on now. Israel, if the Palestinians pass them nests, don't hesitate to fire that weapon. When you constantly get those, so you don't have to look far. That is the reason why we have hunger in other parts of the world, because the wealth of the world is very much uneven in its distribution. That I produce the cocoa, they make the chocolate, and I can't buy the chocolate. The price they pay me for the cocoa, I can't buy it. And that has been so with our bauxite. Draw the bauxite out of the earth. You take it and make planes. I can't buy the planes or the ship. So, you can answer all of that because you're in the midst of it. And that is exactly what we're saying. You cannot in any way prioritize one set of people over another. You cannot do that and then tell me that it's the will of God or it's Yahweh thing. And because you might peacefully have that situation. But what goes on around you in Israel, my sister, is the reality that they carry out some of the most heinous murders of other people, not just in Palestine, in Africa. So you can't just simply, in other words, what you're enjoying there is as a result of those actions. And all we're saying is that, what we're saying is that some of the most heinous weapons, some of the most brutal weapons are either made in Israel or are carried to Israel. Why should that be? And then the bucketive of America now, with all its military might, makes other people afraid. And this is where, in other words, we're going to have more hatred. All of that promote more hatred and more hatred. We would like a world where all of these things are a thing. And if they didn't have those weapons, they would talk with other people much more. They would talk with Hamas. They would, because look at they're fighting Hamas now. When the Israelis, there is facts that the Israelis used to support Hamas against Yasser Arafat. They provided Hamas with military wealth, with money, and with assets to fight Yasser Arafat. They helped to build Hamas the way Hamas has reached today. So you can't separate that political, and just like you said, it's geopolitical construct. Yes, it's all part and parcel of a situation. We all want to eliminate it. So to generalize and say it exists in America, it exists in Jamaica, no. All of this is part and parcel of a geopolitical situation that deprive one set of people, that cause one set of people to work like slaves, as happened now in Africa, and another set of people to reap like kings. And anywhere we see it, we have to fight against it. The Americans are by far the bigger problem, but the Americans have satellites. In Africa, America have more than 13 military bases in Africa. It's all part of their geopolitical machinery to control the world and to make sure. Why are so much money spent on weapons when we have people starving? Yes. So it's along those lines that so you can't just generalize. We don't have cigarettes there. We don't have alcohol. No. We're looking at a global problem caused by some of the very same people that you are right beside them there. And although we're spiritually and we're working for them, and we're not fighting flesh and blood or not, no, my sister, the reality is that at the moment we have to see things and we are all affected. We are fighting here in Jamaica because we want to change the system, because certain set of people are the land and the next set of people are the laborers. We named this program Bitter Sugar because sugar was the excuse used to bring us over from Africa and have us work on the plantation, and up to now we have not been properly getting our wages and our compensation and our reparation. So we know it's a universal struggle, but all we're saying is that in that particular land, which is overpowered by the American wealth and the American support and so on, has caused them to behave in a most obnoxious, racist, and rapacious manner against other people. It is evident how they treat other people. They are some of the biggest racists in the world. And right there, as I give it the example, they dump the African blood. So we're not of one blood. If we have one blood, why you dump my blood? Come on, my sister, you got to face that reality. We are spiritual and all of that, but at some point you got to say to yourself, no African Hebrew Israelite should in any way, and if you're living under their laws and complying, you're part and parcel of that system. Yes. Yes. Yes.
right? But left,
Yes.
we have, I think there may be this disagreement in the chapter. But principally, I think that we're on the same page because you think that there's no way that, again, in the simplicity of it all, we say a justice, injustice anywhere is a justice everywhere.
Absolutely.
That's
Absolutely.
okay.
Absolutely.
So the question is, as we know too, avarice is, probably militaristically and even politically, you are more strict than I am. Because that's just not the plane where I grew up. But we also know that it's that part of it is a business concern. Their concern is who, first of all, where are they getting the resources to come up with these weapons? So that means that we, African people on our continent, have to utilize the rate of the purchasing of the raw materials to make these things what they are, whatever it is. We know that they use those materials, cobalt, etc., and Congo and all over our continent. So there's some things that we have to come to sit at the table, brother, and talk about how we're gonna. We want a weapons zone. We promote a weapons free zone. That's how we live. And so our job is to include the society, whatever we are. At this point in time, there's those of us there, but we're here and we're in other places as well. The idea, again, we have to realize that if we don't dismantle, their children, are just going to change their complexion tomorrow. They're going to change the kind of water that flows. They're going to change, like, they chug up the right over here and it bursts over there. So we got to be able to appeal. And I think, we got to have what the scripture says,
Turn the other cheek. Oh, I thought you were gonna say turn the other cheek because I not into that at all. A man box you, boxing back. And no matter if I can give you 1 box, give him 2 box. Don't turn the other cheek. Not into that.
We have to turn the spirit and the clean to it. This is what we have to do. And we have to figure out how.
And you think that you think that your presence in Israel is helping to do that? You think so? Yeah. No, I'm really glad that you think that way, and I really want to see the tangible evidence, because on the world scene, I don't hear it, I don't see it, I don't see the respect for black people amongst those in Israel. I don't see it at all, So I'm really glad that you have said that. No, I deliberately don't go there. I have come near. I have come as far as the river that crosses over to there, and I said no. I'm not in this promised land and this cradle of civilization business at all. When I'm in Ethiopia, I am in the cradle of civilization and so forth, But we definitely want to bring about, in other words, anywhere where black people is disrespected, I have a problem with. And when I see how them dump the blood of my people, no, I can't mix with you. I cannot mix with you. You can't dump the blood of my people and tell me, say, you prefer die rather than no, what me do amongst you? No, man. Me can't. I couldn't. I couldn't even eat the food if you bring that food come for me to eat. I couldn't eat it in a restaurant. You dump my blood and tell me, say, you prefer die rather and I eat a food from you. No, my sister. I want to change it and I want to bring about, but I've got to find another way. Honestly, I have to find another way. I couldn't lay down in a bed with you and all of that, say, you know, thing. But you have to show me courtesy. You got to show me respect. You got to love me for my brain and for what my contribution is to mankind. You have to show me that first. Me can't come there and you think, no. And by dumping my blood, they brought the Ethiopians there because they figured that the Ethiopians would have brought the Ark of the Covenant with them. They had built a place there in Israel to put the Ark of the Covenant. This thing is going from long time way back. So them won't want the Ethiopians again because, bring nothing. If one of their main rabbis, my sister, I've read this well, if one of their main rabbis did not come out and say, yes, the Ethiopians are in fact of a more ancient Judaic philosophy than even we in Israel have. If one of them didn't come out and say that, them would still see the Ethiopians as 10th-class citizens. But one and two of their rabbis now say, no, these people are of a more ancient order than even what we have in Israel, the Falashis. So, my sister, those are the historical facts. So, yes. So, I give thanks. I'm glad for the reasoning. And if I had a choice, I want to tell us, let's put that energy into Africa. Not Africa meaning Israel as a part of Africa, but the main Africa. I have before me Africa. Ethiopia, Tanzania, Democratic Republic, Sudan, Namibia, Angola. We need all the best brains we have. And I've met some of your people, and my gracious me, I'm so proud. Brilliant minds, brilliant minds. But give thanks for the reasoning. I really have to run off now, and I'm going to be keeping in touch with you. Well, I don't know when you... Yes. Right, and I would love for, whilst you're over there, to provide the access that you can communicate with us here, even on this radio station, and tell us what is happening on the ground and so on. But there are many of my people here. If you carry something and say, boy, this is water from Israel, they will pay you their life savings. And we have to get that out of their mind. Yes, and because of the Bible, yes, that is true, because God says these people, kill all of them. Don't let your sons marry their daughters. Do not even eat their cows or anything. Kill all of them. Which God would give such an order? Such thing. Which God on earth? You make those people and then you tell the next people, go and kill all. Man, write them things there and delude people. We have work to do, my sister. And I can understand there are some who feel that to change the laws of cricket, you got to be in the arena. I understand that aspect too. And there are some who feel that to change it, you got to be outside the arena. You're inside the arena, and we can work together to see how we can. But I suspect that if they realize you're communicating too much with a man like me, you might be, it mightn't be blessings. Because they're going to say you're communicating with a terrorist. That sounds good. That sounds good. And as usual, spirituality triumph over religion, as His Majesty has taught us. Thanks a lot. Blessings and honor. You have my number, I have yours, and we're going to be talking a whole heap more. Every time. Blessings and honor. One love. Irie. Very good. Very good. Yes, took long, but it was worth it. We're looking at the chat room. Yes, my brethren. Some of the messages I've missed. Brother, you know if I pronounce it. Brother, it's Tackle. It's Takilemkwa. Brother Takilemkwa, as he has said, Haile Selassie's discourse on spirituality versus religion was and still is absolutely fundamental. spirituality does not come from religion. It comes from our soul. Taklemenka, he says, in conclusion, he underlined that spirituality is not theology or ideology. And yes, Brother Miguel, talk up the things, the truth is not an offense nor a sin. I give thanks, my brother, and there are some others that I'll get back to in terms of the chat room and so on. But I hope you all understand the reasoning. And I'm talking to my sister because I love my sister. I love the brothers and sisters, the African Hebrew. But the reality is, you can't bring things like promised land and cradle of civilization to me. No. And like I said, they traveled from America. They settled for some years in, I think it was Liberia, in West Africa. They stayed there for about 4 or 5 years. Then they went on to Israel. So if everything is part of Africa, what's the difference? You know, but and it's a fact that some of them have been part of the Israeli army. Now, how do you go and look? I'm not a fan of the United Nations, but the United Nations has passed numerous resolutions pointing out to Israel that taking over other people's land the way you have is apartheid. The United Nations has passed laws and said these settlements belong to the Palestinians. And Israel don't care. Israel will build wall and raid. And Gaza, the West Bank, is a prison, is a big prison. The way the Israelis decide who comes in, who goes out, whether you can go fish, whether you can come back. It's a big prison. The people them can't think. That's the reality of the thing. And any one of us, if we are locked up and in prison, we are going to try to come out. I'm not a Palestinian, but the reality is that anywhere injustice is, we must speak out. We must stand up. You know, and you can't behave like that to a bit simple because you have the backing of America. That's suppose you're going to bring hatred. What they did to the Palestinians the other day in that short little war there is no different from what Hitler did to them. And we are all vexed that Hitler was a madman. So when you do the same thing now, we have to call you a madman too. And the reality of it, and the Jamaicans need to come. I hear some pastors preach some rubbish on the USA. I hear some pastors, Jerusalem is this, and it's God's people. And some pastors preach some rubbish.
Abraham and Isaac.
Them have the right.
Ishmael.
Ah, man, I think like that, man. We have to wake up black people. Isaac and Jacob and all. But you see, in a lot of the stories in the Bible, the thief winning. Even that story about Esau and Jacob. Esau go out, go work, the man go work. And the mother and Jacob tricked the father, according to the Bible story. I don't tell all of that, And the man will go work and feed the family. Honestly. And the little trick will go on. And we must follow the trickster? No. Yes. That is what happened. We must follow the trickster.
They are rich for years.
Look what David do. Send the man at the head of the army. Yeah. And wait for words when the man come back for breed the man wife. All them things the man think. So, you know. So, you know, me I watch the minister in parliament that talk about this gender-based violence and how man treat woman and all them things.
It's unilateral.
Hold on. I said to myself, why she don't start with the Bible? The Bible show a man will treat woman more than any other book on earth, you know, brethren. The Bible disrespect women more than any other book on earth, you know.
Woman coming like one ounce.
Me say, every woman a Delilah in the Bible, you know, apart from Ruth and Martha and so on. But the Bible treat, so if you're going to talk in a parliament about gender-based, start with the Bible. Because that Bible, ever since Eve, when they portray Eve.
It treat women like they're all white.
This great, me say, worse.
Yes.
Worse, the Bible. So you know, I think that
I'm called a patriarchal society.
the minister in her speech in Parliament should start there, so. She should start there, so, and say, boy, let's get rid of this, you know, because this definitely promote ill treatment of our sisters and our mothers. Give thanks, blessings and honor. Nice. And this one, yeah. Yes, thanks for all the different messages in the chat room. We'll gradually keep up with it and so on. Give thanks. Yes. As we move along and so forth, now we're going to be talking reparations. And brothers and sisters, serious business. Reparations is not begging, you know. Reparations is not looking handouts, you know. Just give it thinking. We worked on these sugar plantations for hundreds of years. We got no wages. We worked from sunup past sundown. Our toil and our sweat built those cities. Bristol, Liverpool, all those, London and all those cities, and so on. All we are saying is that those wages are now due. And you work my people to death. My ancestors have risen me, I and I, up now to demand these wages. And this is all we are doing, peacefully, legally. We are saying we have a right now to all of that wealth that belongs to I and I. To make matters worse, we see where you are still raping Africa. So, brothers and sisters, understand what we say, reparations. You can't bring us back alive because many of us were killed. But certainly, if we can make some of our people live better. Look on all these guns we are firing in central Kingston. Hanover, reading the papers, you tell me, say the government can't stop these guns from coming in? If the Jamaica government bring a lawsuit against America, those guns stop, you know. But no, the America have to keep giving them the little crumbs, the aid, the little crumbs and all of that, and them not even open their mouth. 90% of these guns made in America. And you can't prevent them from coming here, man, that them little youth, them not fling stone off of one another. But as a man who open a mouth and a boy, think him go for a gun and climb over 2 walls, and them shoot a youth 2 weeks ago. And his mother know them, you know. And his mother come and try, them shoot her too. Elliston Road thing. That is the level where it gone, brethren, and we can't just keep sitting and think and say, boy, think. We have to pressure that these things. But the thing that bother me now is the baby. The baby where the lady have at the Miss Armstrong at the hospital at Spanish Town. And they make the baby die without any attention.
Yes.
I'm not supporting that you must go fire all of the doctors and the nurses. No. But I would make those nurses work in a maternity ward non-stop for 6 months. Make them go deliver baby, wash up baby, clean up the blood and everything. And then another 6 months, I would make them work in the communities, some of the more desperate communities in this country. Make them go work amongst the people and do some whole heap of community work. That them understand that when a mother comes, you know, and especially a mother who don't have it, you don't treat her like that. You have to do, and then to have the audacity to come tell you all protocols were followed. What kind of audacity? And then you hear about investigation. I'm tired of investigation now, man. Investigation is just a form of procrastination to cool down the heat for people. That's all an investigation ever do. All protocol. Then if the protocols kill people, you should be so ashamed of yourself. If anybody is to be punished, it must be the head of the hospital. Not the nurses and thing, you know, but they need special training. Them nurses, they will tell us them couldn't help. They need special training. And the doctor, they will turn up whatever time and turn up. You need to do something about that. I'm not supporting firing people, but I support that you put pressure, you make them understand, and them work for a certain while in certain areas that they must care for poor people, care for the humble, the needy, the aged. Learn for care. That's what your job demands as a nurse, more than beyond kindness. So that is where I would put them for 1 year and then see if we don't have a change set of people.
Yes.
You understand? I know them things like I have carried footballers to the hospital and I hear say the key, the radiologist will have the key, the overport more with the key.
Imagine that.
Yes, them joke they play in Jamaica. And the youth have dead there with him hand broken and after thing in peel. And when I say, all right, if you tell me where she live, I will drive go for her, you know. And when I'm call the lady and say, well, we have somebody who will come. She say, no, me I enjoy my Sunday dinner. Where you think, man? Where you take this thing? But this is not something I guess about. Yes. Lady says she enjoy her Sunday dinner, man. So me I come tell her about me will drive come. But and I just the footballer with me carry, you know. There were about 17 other footballers, you know. Where get lick up, this broke up, that, you know.
Need attention.
All across Kingston and St. Andrew, you know. The urgency.
Yeah, man.
Can me get my hand broke playing football already, you know. So I know what this thing is like.
Yes.
And you can't do the x-ray for put on the plaster polish because the x-ray key they overport more. This is Jamaica. And you see people jump on, bus back, Ghana conference, all of that. For them people were treating you like dog. And then come tell me the name of politics because the man them going to like money, like a nanny, like a shearer and them things there. Come on, people, get out of that. Yes.
Balance, you know. Freedom is saying, even a move up records. Give thanks to the people, help me along the way. Yeah. Journey never easy. Everybody have a role to play. The stone that the builders refuse shall become the head cornerstone. 'Cause in this lifetime we gain the shine to the circumstance, to the gift. My voice shall break every barrier. Oh, tell me where. My voice shall break every barrier. Oh, tell me where. My voice shall set me free, like a bird in the tree. My voice shall set me free, like a bird in the tree.
Get him from my
day that I've been through great tribulation.
383 2378.
After the persecution comes the resurrection. Made it to the hall of fame, pages of history, most anticipated. Give thanks for the victory. My voice shall break every barrier. Oh, tell me where. My voice shall break every barrier. Oh, tell me where. My voice shall set me free.
Look at
Like a bird in the tree.
German.
My voice shall set me free, like a bird in the tree. My voice is lightning, my voice is thunder, my voice is whirlwind, my voice is earthquake. Cheerful fans are here. Late on the radio, late on the TV, late on the internet, in the paper the people want to see. My voice shall break every barrier. Oh, tell me where. My voice shall break every barrier. Out of me way, my voice shall set me free. Like a bird in the tree. My voice shall set me free. Like a bird in the tree.
Yes, Brother Racy. Eight 5-3 what? 530.
I was doing an interview with him.
8356. 530-8356. All right. That's it.
What I should tell him? I want to speak with him.
I'm on the line.
Even a move up regards.
I'm saying.
Alright.
I'm saying.
Hold this.
Eh? Ready?
Yeah, see, I'm to tell you what time, you know?
Yes,
Time
yes,
gone over.
yes,
Give me
yes.
10 minutes.
Yes. Come on. Yes. Greetings and blessings, Brother Bert. Yes, we run past the time, but I know you want to hang this, brother. I like how you hang. Governor Ear. Governor Ear, you know, that was a beautiful play that you wrote and put forward, and it's something that etched in our minds forever. Now, as a member of the Reparations Commission, this is a situation in Namibia. There are many angles to the situation. One, here it is that the government of Namibia goes and agree with the government of Germany to get $1.3 billion over 30 years as developmental aid. The people of the Herero people, their leaders and their chiefs said, no, you're out of order. You can't go discuss this thing on our behalf. We have to be the one to settle with Germany if there is to be a settlement. How you see all of this as a member of the reparations, as a strong reparations advocate, not as a member of the committee. You have been a reparations advocate long before you're on the committee. How you see all of this, Bert? Because our people are saying that we want justice, fair justice. Yes. 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 That Germany and Namibia. That in 1904. Yes. Go ahead. Yes. 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 His name is Lothar van Trotha. Lothar. Yeah, man. There's some spelling that spell it Lothar, Lotha. Some people say Lothar, Lothar. But the Van Trotha part now, Vantrotha. He was the army man. He was the general that ordered the troops. Go ahead. Huh? 100,000. 100,000 of the Herero people and the Nama people. Yes. 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 1904 to 1908. Up to all 1906, black people were in concentration camps in Namibia. The Germans had black people in concentration camps. That's how bad it was in Namibia. Yes. Yes. The Herero. Yes. Well, brethren, if that is what my mission is, to link you, because that is the thing now, you know. You have some brilliant young minds amongst the Herero and the Nama people in Namibia, and they are the ones advising their chiefs not to agree to this settlement, because they are saying, many of them, some of them can even talk the German language, so some of them have even gone to Germany and read their newspapers. And them say in Germany, in the newspapers, them talk about us worse than dogs. So, so all of this discussion, and they know are the ones who they didn't treat the Jews like that, and they paid the Jews billions of dollars, billions, and yes, yes, yes. 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 Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh yes. Yeah, man. You good thing. I bring along my copy of the book. You have a copy also, you know. The Berlin Conference, 1894. You have a copy. I bring a copy. Yes. In fact, Bismarck, the Chancellor, when him called that conference, you know what he said? He said the map of Africa is being drawn in Europe. That's what I'm saying, you know, Bismarck, you know, Chancellor Bismarck, when him called the conference in 1894. So it's from this it build up towards the murder will take place 1904 to 1908. Yes. 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 We're cursed. We're cursed. My God, you can't imagine, man. Yeah, man. But you have a copy of that book, The Scramble for Africa. Right. Ibadan University Press, 1973. Yes. 1894. Definitely. Definitely, my brother. Very late in acquiring colonies in Africa. You see, because everybody else did have French, Spanish, that all of them did have a colonies in Africa. So Bismarck now himself, hold on, man, you can't just leave me out, so. Me I forget something I know too. So him come to Africa with a vengeance, brethren. Murder, man. So, sound better. Yes. Yes, absolutely, my brother. And you know one of the things, because I don't know if you had done European history whilst in school. I did European history at A level. And one of the things I'm realizing now, in doing European history, I remember we did the Treaty of Versailles at the end of the First World War. And Germany, from the end of the First World War, Germany, the rest of the world, the rest of the other countries, them, took away the colonies from Germany on the basis that Germany was ill-treating the people in these, as you said, the lands that they had occupied. That would have been the ideal time for those countries to say, Germany, give the Africans reparations. But that wasn't mentioned in the Treaty of Versailles at all. And when we studied those things, we when I studied them from an African point of view. So I never didn't know, say, Michel did right, say, you know, the African countries needed compensation and reparation. It's no. Yes. But you see what I mean? It's from them time, you know, if you go as far as taking away the lands from Germany because of the ill treatment they were given. Now the ideal time for say Germany, talk to the people, man. You can't just kill our people and come out. Yes. Yes. Yes, absolutely. So when we put him on trial here now, we are sure how we think and how we feel. Because the people of St. Thomas are feeling the legacy of his hand until this day. Yes. I remember the Sunday morning. Yes. Yeah, man. Absolutely. Yeah, because the morning them surround him car, lick on him car, and I say, come out, make we hang you, boy. I mean, it's no hearsay, no, me see it, me say, you understand what I mean? So just like you said, the average person was so irritated from watching the player brethren that them wanted to take out some anger on somebody. And him seemed to have been the perfect person. Although there's a play, them still want to string up the man. Yeah, man. It is so. There are even some lawyers, some Herrera lawyers, because this matter had gone to court, you know. Yes, we were following on that line. I think they went to court in 1995. But from 1919, they have been trying to get back their land. So, like them just sit down. They have been agitating. Yes. 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 Absolutely. Absolutely. So we have to now move to the next step now. That we must get in touch with those lawyers we advise the area people and link them up with you, Bert, and send them a copy of your trying of governor here and say, let's get together now and put Lothar Van Thotha on trial in Africa, all of Africa. Yes. Yes. Murderer. Yes. Properly. Yes. Yes. Because if it stayed the way it is, we will always be slaves. Yeah. Yes. A prison. Yes. So that so that's why they had passed laws like the Vagrancy Act, Suspected Persons Act. Yes. Well, we like bullfrog, we run over. Okay, you know. Yes. Out of order. Wow. Yeah, well ignorant. You know what I also come across me because I think it's last week or the week before we remembered the Tulsa, Oklahoma massacre, Black Wall Street, when white people and the state burned down our black businesses, hate crime, and successful businesses. So we're 100 years of that. In 2 years' time, we'll be remembering Rosewood. Rosewood was in Florida when again black people were murdered, ill-treated by whites, and so on. That was in 1923. So 2 years' time is the next 100 years, and so. True. Yes. Yes. But yes. Yes, with reality. But here the thing, Marcus Garvey, this is what I realize now when I read some of these other things, the Tulsa, the Rosewood, and many other things in that era. This is what makes Garvey even greater, B. Because 1920s, that was when Garvey was raging in America. For him to have stood out the way he stood out in the same 1920s, when Tulsa take place, when Rosewood take place, when enough of these massacre, when lynching was going on. For him, yes. 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 Definitely. Definitely. And imagine, so Garvey, super great to, if in the 19, them same time that when these things are happening, Garvey organized black businesses, black people, black marches, all sort of black things right in the heart of them commercial capital, Harlem, New York. Yes. 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 Just to go get an education here. The law say one thing and the people say another thing. Yes. 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 Fantastic, man. Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely, brethren. We give thanks. So, Bert, yeah, man, we have work to do because you have to go write the trial now of Lothar Van Thotha. Yes. And yes, 1923. In fact, what I will do be, as we speak now, I won't even bother tomorrow morning. I'll make sure I put it in my bag. There's a lovely, well, not lovely, it can't be lovely, but there's a book. The title of the book is Like Judgment Day. Like Judgment Day by Michael De Orso. Michael D, comma, ORSO. And the subtitle is The Ruin and Redemption of a Town Called Rosewood. Definitely, my brother. The Rosewood is a good example of reparations also. Because later on, descendants of the Rosewood massacre were actually compensated. Some of them were actually compensated. Rosewood is an example of reparations to some of the black people. Just like the Tuskegee experiment. Bill Clinton had compensated some of the descendants of the Tuskegee experiment during his presidency. So those are two examples where black people received reparations in America. Yes. Yes. Yeah, Lord have mercy, man. The black people. So, some lawyers, brethren. One lawyer stood up beside me and said, "What an idiotic thing, brethren. You know, no time. You have time. You have so much time for waste." I remember some lawyers said, What kind of madness this one I carry out? Black lawyers, black like we, I tell you, we say, boy, brethren, them their foolishness and all of that and all of that. Yes. Yes. And still have them now. And then worst of all, you have some of them are going to notify back from us. Say Bertha and Miguel are come tomorrow for about another thing. Yes. It was. Yes. Absolutely. It was bad. Nice. Yeah, man. I give thanks to brother. Thanks for the reasoning and so on. And yeah, man. But I wanted you on because I know you were going to be empowered to write another trial of Lothar Van Thosa. Every time. Blessings and honor. Nice. Yes. Give thanks there. He goes to his office 5:30 every morning. So he leaves office at 2 o'clock. And he has to go sleep. Make sure he go sleep by a certain time that he wake up. And he goes to his office downtown 5:30 every morning for the past 40 years. 42 years. I've been him graduate in time. Right. But the amount of work himself getting before the traffic, the people have come in.
Right, this again. You don't mind if I have a point.
Yes.
Right, history again.
Yes.
Don't compromise on with the word.
And you don't have to say
History.
don't let it fall on the face. Get up and fight again, warrior. You never bound as a paper soldier. You've been shining these stages for ages and turning the pages without the wedges. Get up and fight again, warrior.
No, because see what time it is now?
20 minutes.
Huh?
Don't let these stages get you down.
So 9:30.
In a Satan no. Hold on by a title and conquer
We need some paper. You have piece of paper. You have piece of paper.
rain up on but the dirty top. But I cook but the people no know how. So that time when things don't right, but soon you'll be alright. Get up and fight again, warrior. You never bound as a paper soldier. You've been shining these stages for ages and turning the pages without the wages. Get up and fight again, warrior.
Get this brother for me now. Brother Hero. Brother Hero, quickly for me.
Get you down. Be a leader, not a follower. Be a painter of your own picture. Get up and walk in your own asada. And your destiny, so be the director. You have dreams, you have goals. But your story has never been told. You are acting under control. Don't sit down with your hands and fold. Get up and fight again, warrior. You never bound as a paper soldier. You've been checking these stages for ages and turning the pages without the wedges. Get up and fight again, warrior. You never bound as a paper soldier. Don't let these pages get you down. Get up and fight. Come on, come on. Get up and fight. Come on.
Beautiful song there from you, Punge. Heal up my brethren over there in Westmoreland. Aye. Get up and fight again, warriors. Beautiful song, beautiful song. Give thanks. We have Brother Heru on the line, President of the Marcus Garvey People's Political Party. Brother Heru.
Greetings, Brother Miguel.
Yes, blessings and honor. Now, I don't know if you have come across that report that the Ombudsman put out recently concerning campaign financing and campaigning overall and all of that. Yes.
Yes, I actually got my hand on a copy of it.
Yes.
And it is really an insult to the people.
Yes.
You put out a report like that, and you are saying it is a consensus from the parties that contested the election and the campaigning procedure was followed. When I look through the document, it is condoning the BU by election because it is so blatant that people could receive passing money. People took camera pictures with their phone and distributed to show that electors were paid to vote. The campaigning was fraud with all of that, bribery. But you know, Brother Miguel, what is really upsetting is that we say we have a democracy, but we really don't. We say we have laws, but we don't enforce these laws. No, I will read a law that is from coming from the 40s when to bribe someone in an election, you could be fined $100. Now, subsection 94, and I'm going to read it. The heading is bribery. The following persons shall be deemed guilty of bribery within the meaning of this act. Every person who directly or indirectly, by himself or by any other person on his behalf, gives, lends, or agrees to give or lend, or offers, promises, or promises to procure, or endeavors to procure any money or valuable consideration.
So valuable consideration is all like them MP that will give people vouchers to go to hardware store, forget plywood, zinc and all of that, for vote for them.
So the law is there.
What's the name of that law? What's the name of that law again? Repeat that law.
It's the bribery act in election became under the Kingston and St. Andrew Corporation from 1944.
So the name of it is Bribery Act in Elections.
Yes. So it is there.
Yes. But just not implemented at all.
It is not implemented. It is not enforced. It is actually controlled
Yes.
by both parties.
And yet it is those two parties that she invite in order to compile a report.
Well, I actually called the office, and in the recording, and what they're saying, they invited the registered parties. So they invited the JNT, the TNP, the JPT, that's a new party that has been registered for the last election, and the UIC, the United Independent Congress. So they're actually saying, we did put out the offer to other parties that are registered. So the Marcus Garvey People's Political Party was not registered. So we were not invited to the table.
But we participated in elections.
And
In other words, it's not registered. What are your views on regard to elections in Jamaica concerning skullduggery and bribery? Yes. Yes. Mm-hmm. 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 Well, mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It was scandalous. Yes. That mean the ombudsman is getting money under false pretense, man. It's a joke. It's a joke. And like I said earlier on the program, it is like inviting the rapists and put them on the jury. What kind of result do you expect? All right, my brother, time has run up on us, and I really want us to go more into this, so we'll continue again next week, because this is important. Because and not only that, many judges in this country write judgments, make speeches in court, and they start with that. Jamaica is a democracy, and therefore such and such. And Jamaica is not a democracy. You buy votes is not a democracy. So the thing is bad, and if your law implementers don't understand that, then the consequences are bad. Nice. Yes. No, it's yes. Yes. We have to bring about the changes, my brother. We have to do something now. And when you see what's happening in the world, down in Peru, a school teacher from a rural district won the elections there. They don't finish the counting yet, but he's leading and he's due to win the elections there. A humble school teacher, and the majority of people are saying we're just tired of that set of people. So in other words, there changes can come about, and we see in some other places where some, the people are trying hard to get rid of the oligarchy, get rid of do certain set. Just like how we want to get rid of the PNP and JLP in Jamaica now, we really want to get rid of them. When you look at the two of them brethren, it's shameful, man. This running of elections and buying and enrichment and all of that at the cost of the poor. You see, we have to push a revolutionary party. We have to make sure the people understand. And there are two main issues in Jamaica. There's the class struggle, rich getting richer, the class struggle, and there's the race issue. Majority of the companies and certain things, and so it's certain people you see, certain color you see running it, certain banks, businesses, and all of that. So there's both the double monster we're up against, the class issue and the race issue. And unless we have a revolutionary party that is going to bring about change, and individually you can't do it, we have to have a revolutionary party. And I gave the people last week the example of the party in Guinea-Bissau, led by Amilcar Cabral, in the 1960s when he formed the party, and a people with a population of less than 1 million people was able to defeat the Portuguese that had a population of over 10 million people. The Portuguese army alone bigger than the population of Guinea-Bissau. And they defeated them. So we can do the same here and get rid of the PNP and the JLP, brother. Intellectually, work hard amongst the people and educate the people. Brother Hero, we're going to continue this next week. Give thanks, brother. I'm glad that you could join us. Yeah, man. Brother Hero, dear people. Yeah, man. As we move towards closing off the program, you were put beautiful. See another one of this. You can get the brother there for me?
Yeah, I'll try.
Yes.
Those things are spoken of. City of Kentucky, princes and princesses, singers and players of instruments and all the rest of all right offspring. Glorious things are spoken, my people are never mistaken. City of Rastafari, oh mama Africa, rise, rise, mama earth. Oh, Mama Africa, rise, rise, Mama Earth. Oh, can you the more you see the light of victory, the more we realize who we are. The more we realize, the more we centralize. The more we centralize, the more we rise. Oh, Mama Africa, rise, rise, Mama Earth. Oh, Mama Africa.
All right, I think I'll start the front gate, man. Say that again. Yeah, man, you can squeeze the lock, man. Like everything's secure inside. Yeah, man, help my key. Voice me, make it, and try to get
Come to me, little, no? Come to me. I want to heal up Brother Winter, Mr. Winter, from Winter's Garage on Maxfield Avenue. I want to heal up Mr. Winter. Stay strong, my brother. Stay strong.
Miguel's show.
I'm going to ask the people, a lot of people, because land is serious.
In 7 minutes still, so I don't really have much time. So
and a lot of people,
I want to go through it.
a lot of people buy a piece of land. And when they're trying to get their title now, and you said to them, where is the receipt where you buy the land? And I give you too much excuses.
I think you probably do an introduction and then call about next week. Because
you know,
short. I'll tell him.
And then the persons can't find it, can't this. All your important papers, make a copy of it, please. All your, is on the line?
Yeah.
All your important papers, make a copy. And don't put the copy in the same place as the original. There are certain things I can't take it and people come and them not think some simple little things. Greetings and blessings, Brother Omari. Yeah, man, I'm hearing you, my brother. My apologies for calling you much later than I'd planned. All right, yes. Yes, but touch a little bit on that that Canada business now with the amount of children that was at the Catholic school. You know, Jamaica should consider throwing the Catholics out of here, you know. Because you take the children in complicity with the state, eh? The state agreed with it. And they took the children from their parents forcefully, send them to these schools so as to indoctrinate them in other behavior and so on. They did it when they took the Canadians, you know. They did it when they sent the Trelawney Maroons from Jamaica to Nova Scotia in Canada. And yeah, they did the same thing with, yes. 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 So they did it on our own black people. They did it on the Indians now, the original people up there. And now they are finding graves all over the place of children as young as 3 years old. Goes back to 1860. So these residential schools have been around since 1860. And supported by the government. And we should let our listeners know not until about, when were they closed down? Or recently, 1980 something or something like that. Huh? 1987. Them started to close them down. So from 1860 to 1987, over 100 and odd years higher, these people have been ill-treated. The government is saying that the Catholics need to take some responsibility, and the government up there is talking like they want to take the Catholics to court. How you see that? Yes. Absolutely. My brother, I'll have to call you back next week and we continue this conversation. We'll call you back early because it's very, very important. Oh, because, you know, Canada is painted up as a modern society, peaceful society. Everybody coexists and happy in Canada. So that's what they paint Canada, you know. Pleasure to talk to you, my brother, and continue to fly the flag of freedom as I know yourself and others are doing up in Canada, the black flag of freedom. Give thanks, my brother. Every time. Great to hear from you, man. Nice. We'll be continuing that conversation next week with him because it's a very serious thing. And, you know, a lot of people. Yes. All right, my brother. Blessings and honor. Well, people, time run up on us, so we got to come out of here. But we have give thanks for all those who join in. Give thanks for all those who listen. We hope we have said enough that can stimulate some further reasoning, some some further overstanding that people can know that, look, man, they, you know, you can't just suppress people, you can't just treat people in any way. All over now, you know, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. So, gonna close off with Morgan Heritage song here. A beautiful song here. All right. Yes, as we thank all those who joined in, thank all those who listened, thank all those who joined us on the chat room. We weren't able to read all of the comments, you know. I'm trying to find this particular song that mentioned the countries in Africa. But, oh, I'm trying to find this one particular song. Yes, thank you all for joining us. Bitter Sugar, join us next week, 6 to 10 o'clock. And sending your comments, feel welcome. You can send them to the station. Continue the journey.
This is entitled Freedom, dedicated to the whole entire world. Coming from Una, Grams, Peter, Lewis, and Mr. Mojo, Morgan Heritage. We're crying for freedom for all mankind. We don't care about color, racism is not our style. We're fighting for a better world for the young boys and girls. This is our contribution towards a better world. Somebody say
Black Power.
freedom for every black man.
Yes, I'd started out with it, you know. You hear the start of it, I play the song, I talk about him, I read some part, and it just keeps running down for me. It's a good thing we did that, so we have to just make that next week. In fact, what I'm thinking of next week, I haven't mentioned it, is to say, I can probably do an outside broadcast of a Pinnacle. You know, that was what I was thinking of really, the way I wanted to put so much today. So sorry about that, my brother, very sorry, but we're going to feature it next week, strong. I even brought your book, you know, I mentioned your book, you know. I mentioned the book with you, Jelani Clinton, and thing, and about the Leonard Owen. I brought it and read about it and all of that. So it's not that I wasn't prepared, you know. But it's just that the swing of things. That sister took up quite a bit of time, which I hadn't anticipated.
FM 100 on your dial.
Hello there. Yes, indeed. This is the Prophet Reverend Mark Stewart.
Yes, there's something.
To join us for war. It's going to be a war this and every Wednesday.
Promised land and cradle of civilization. You mad man.
Come for the word, come for the preaching, come for the teaching, and of course the music, and of course midnight warfare with me, the Prophet Mark Stewart, the boss shot, Apostle Marshall, Reverend Eric Box, and of course Reverend Kathy Dane for the hard way. Join us.
That is it. Yes.
To 5 a.m. Come and join us.